Hello, everyone. So, I wanted to talk about this really interesting question on the community from Autumn. And the question is it possible to export a Jira workflow diagram and display it in a Confluence page? Now, this is really interesting, and I think I may want to also do it uh, whenever I get time. So, in Jira, of course, you have workflows. And when you look at a workflow, of course, there is a textual mode, but there is also a very nice visual mode where you can see all the statuses and transitions, and at the same time, the name of those transitions on the arrows. And I think the diagram view is definitely useful if let us say I'm working on some issue and I want to know what is the process, the life cycle of the issue. I can take a look at the diagram. Now, what if you want to display the same diagram in a Confluence page? Of course, you can take a screenshot and you can, of course, then upload it somewhere in Confluence. But this question is ask this question is asking about how can we do it automatically. So basically, some kind of a macro maybe where this diagram or some way to import this directly from Jira and display it in Confluence, and also at the same time keep it up to date. So if there is any change in the workflow, then the same thing should be updated back in Confluence. So in my opinion, of course, I mean, not my opinion, but there is no way to do it, at least natively. But I was thinking of some use cases. So first of all, if you're on server version of Jira, you can always retrieve this information about workflows like statuses, transitions. I mean, those are known as actions and action IDs, and of course, the name of the transitions. And you can then reconstruct that workflow somehow. I don't know how, but maybe let us say in a table format, because that should work in, of course, Confluence. But we are talking about Java APIs, that is, of course, on server. But the question is on cloud. And on cloud, I know that using REST API, you can actually retrieve some of this information. Not really a lot. I still have to take a look at these endpoints. So there is one deprecated endpoint called REST API 3 workflow. And this is, of course, not going to give you the details of the the workflow. It will give you the name of the workflow. So this is, of course, not massively useful, but at the same time you may have something like get workflow statuses, and this is, of course, going to show you the statuses in your Jira instance. But there is something called as transition rules, and also workflow schemes, and also workflow transition properties. So there are a few things, but not really a lot. And I think you can still use this or these endpoints to maybe retrieve whatever you can and then create a page in Confluence. And and then, of course, you can do whatever you want to do with that particular page, maybe update it again. You might also be able to do it using automation rules. I mean, no, not really might. You should be able to do it because you can make REST calls using automation rules. But uh, when you're doing something like this, where you have to retrieve or make multiple calls, I think you need to write some code. And script runner is, of course, on cloud is, of course, my choice. But you can also do it outside Jira or outside Confluence. Maybe interact with both Jira and Confluence, and then do it. Then maybe create a page or update it with the new workflow details, whatever you can fetch. And that is it. I mean, these are a couple of options that I was thinking of, and at the same time, I think this is really interesting. I believe this should be a feature, or it can be a feature, maybe an app idea. So something new that I encountered today, and I never really thought of doing it, like displaying or creating a workflow diagram, or fetching the workflow information from Jira and recreating it visually in Confluence. But interesting idea. And that is all I wanted to talk about in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much.